Wait, are we on? Are we rolling? Oh, welcome back, movie freaks. It's me, movie freak Tracy. Just eating my popcorn. It's been a little bit since I've done a movie review. Excuse me. I've actually seen 4 that I haven't done reviews for, so I'm going to try to do at least 2 of them today. Today, I'm going to talk about a film that was released actually today. That film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't know about you guys, but ever since the last Avenger film came out, it just seems like the quality of Marvel films has gone down. As a matter of fact, I don't have a lot of good to say about this one, but let's get into the details first. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is rated PG-13 for its intense violence and action, suggestive drug references, and thematic elements. The runtime for the film is 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like the other Guardian films before it, this film also stars Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord.
I'm Star-Lord!
Bradley Cooper as the voice of Rocket.
He didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they are.
David Bautista as Pratt.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
Vin Diesel as Groot. Karen Gillian as Nebula.
Knock it off!
Zoe Saldana as Gamora.
Oh, please.
And Pom Klementif, hopefully I'm saying her name right, as Mantis.
We'll all fly.
The film starts where Peter Quill is still in mourning for the loss of Gamora. He's now the village drunkard, not much of anything else, until Rocket is almost kidnapped and injured. And the Guardians realize they have to do everything that they can to help Rocket survive, and they have a limited amount of time to get it done. Now, having said that, let's talk about the good things first. The music selection in all of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and anytime they showed up in the Avengers films, the music was fantastic. Nothing changed in this one. Still great classic music going on in the background, stuff that you can tap your foot to, even if you don't know it. The main plot of the film, where the Guardians are going and trying to do everything they can to help Rocket survive, is great. Outside of that, it's just a mishmash of mini storylines. There's very bizarre costume designs. I don't want to give too much away, but they go to this one location and the security guards, for whatever reason, are wearing these gigantic, poofy uniforms that make it look like a fat suit that you would wear if you were trying to make yourself look fat for a movie role, for example. There's no rhyme or reason for them to have that type of a suit. It seems very limiting in movement, and it was just, as a viewer, I was like, what? It's not even tactically appropriate. I mean, it doesn't help them with their movements. The only thing about it is it has jets on it and helps them move a little bit. But other than that, it was very bizarre. The brightest spots in the film are some of the banter that goes back and forth between the Guardians, which is reminiscent of what we saw throughout the other 2 volumes, as well as the Avenger films. Some of those exchanges are really funny, but in comparison, this one just lacked the comedy that the other 2 provided. Some of the main characters were fighting with each other throughout the film. As a matter of fact, the only time they're all on the same page is in the very last scene of the film, which is unfortunate because that's what makes the past films funny, is the way they interact comedically with each other. I really liked the backstory we get on Rocket. We find out where he's from and what kind of an animal he really is. I'm not going to give away any plot points if you happen to decide to go see it, but that, out of anything else, was probably the best part of the film. But again, as I said, there were many side stories and weird things Without going into too much detail, they go to an Earth-like planet, and on this planet there are animals that we would recognize, like dogs and cats and fish, and they're all walking around like humans, and it's just really bizarre, and it doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the films, which, yes, they had alien beings, but they weren't based off of animals from Earth. And anyway, to me, it just didn't make sense, and it just really detracted from the trilogy. Another, what I would call a plot hole, is, and this was confusing for me when I saw the trailer as well, but they obviously, Peter Quill is reeling at the beginning and very out of sorts because of the death of Gamora in the fourth Avenger film. Hopefully you've already seen that by now. And then all of a sudden, Gamora's there, and they hastily talk about the fact that she's there, but they don't really go into much explanation as to how it happened or why. And so you're left wondering, what is this? You realize that she's not the same Gamora, of course, but there's no explanation to why she's there or where she came from, really. Just that she's there, and she doesn't have the same memories as the other one, and so she has no recollection of ever being with Peter Quill. And it just seemed disjointed. I think they could have done a better job of explaining that. Some of the supporting characters were bizarre as well. And I don't know if that... I don't read the comics, so I don't know if some of those characters came from that. I'm strictly the movies guy. But to me, there just wasn't enough good to make this film even close to what the other ones were. I rate this film a 4 out of 10. I don't recommend you see it. It's just... I was hoping that the movie would end. The runtime, as I said, is 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I really felt every minute of it, especially after the halfway point. I was like, is this thing ever going to end? And I really didn't want to stay there longer, but at the same time, I did it so that I could bring you this movie review. So if you decide to go see this film, it's totally up to you, but be ready for some bizarre things, in my opinion, that don't seem to fit like in the rest of them. And again, as I've mentioned before on this review and also in other reviews, the Marvel films are just not up to the same level as the other ones, or before the final Avenger film. And I just feel like they've lost something. And honestly, to me, it's kind of run its course. I almost wonder if it would be better for them to just stop making Marvel films altogether, because as the quality of the films goes down, the willingness for audiences to go and pay the money to go see them is also going to go down. It's almost like they need to go back and start building towards another large event and start tying them together. That's what really made the Marvel films winning films, in my opinion, previously, and it's just not there anymore. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I have an email address that you're welcome to send an email to. I would love to hear any thoughts or comments or even criticisms from you. You can send those to AmericanMovieFreaks@protonmail.com. I will respond to any and all emails that are sent. One of these days, I'm hoping to do maybe a live review where maybe you can interact a little bit more. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I have a couple of friends who also do podcasts, so I might try to include in there something to do with theirs, something to do with mine, and have some discussion around a movie of some kind. Or if you prefer to just put something in the comments below, please feel free to do that as well. Anything is great. I just appreciate you coming and watching my reviews and supporting American Movie Freaks. And until next time, it's American Movie Freak Tracy signing off, and I hope to see you at the show.